choices. Yes, choices. And we appreciate the fact that you come here. The overwhelming majority of you come here because you appreciate, if not enjoy, the experience. As I often said, listen, my job is to provoke you into thinking. Yes? My job is to have you experience a range of emotions. Yes? Satisfaction, happiness, sadness, joy, anger, upset. Yeah? Some of you want to tell me a whole string of bad word sometime. But you know what? You keep on coming back. And that is what is important. Yes? This morning, I'm going to begin with a story on the front page of the Jamaica Observer. The story is headlined, Danger to Democracy. Concern as large number of police and soldiers shun electoral process. And the Observer is reporting this morning, as Jamaicans prepare to go to the polls for the country's 19th general election, there is concern that the persistent low turnout at the polls by members of the security forces could weaken the island's democracy. The worry is that the lack of interest in voting by members of the Jamaica Constabulary Force, JCF, and the Jamaica Defence Force, JDF, raises questions about the viability of the country's democracy and the message their disengagement sends to the public. According to the Jamaica Observer's reporting, despite being given the opportunity to cast ballots ahead of the general population, police and soldiers have long recorded low participation in elections. According to the Electoral Commission of Jamaica, in 2016, 53%, or 5,322 of the 10,041 members of the JCF on the voters list took the opportunity to vote. 53% in 2016. However, only 930, or 36%, of the 2,569 soldiers registered to vote cast a ballot. In the 2020 general elections conducted during the COVID pandemic, the numbers fell even more, with only 4,849 of the 11,512, or 42% of the police registered to vote, cast their ballots, and just 982 of the 4,181 soldiers on the list exercised their franchise. Beg your pardon. According to social scientist Ricardo Smith, the low voter turnout by members of the security forces cannot be ignored. It sends a very negative message when the people who are trained and appointed to protect our interests, to serve and protect us, to enforce laws and protect us, relating to criminal justice, have a hands-off approach as it relates to who serves the country. This is not good. Well, my first reaction, it is not good, but so it is for the wider population. The members of the security forces are drawn from the wider Jamaican population, and the numbers are also low for the wider population. It's not that the wider Jamaican population is voting in greater numbers than the security forces. No. They are in step with the national turnout on average. Yeah? So we shouldn't be too alarmed by this. What we need to focus on is why there's this continuing decline in voter turnout and interest in our national electoral process. People are losing hope that the system can deliver the goods for them. They're not being excited and inspired. Yeah? That is the problem. It's not that you're a soldier or police. You're no different from what happens in the communities across the country. Yeah? And it's a question our leaders or community, and when I say leaders, not only political leaders, social, civic, business, church leaders ought to examine what is it about the politics, why so many people are just of the view that can't bother. It really matter. Yeah? Because that is dangerous. Yeah? It is dangerous. Because when you get to a point where the last election we had a turnout of what? 37%, 38%, 37.8%. It's deep red flashing alarm. Let us see what happens on September 3. Are we going to get a turnout of that magnitude, 37.8, 40%? Or are we going to see it going back up? Because remember, 2020 was, we have to keep on reminding ourselves, an outlier of an election. It was the COVID pandemic election. Yeah? When the restrictions in terms of movement were on. So we will have to see if come September 3 this year, yeah, there's going to be an improvement. Now, talking about voter apathy, I see where two of the smaller third, fourth parties, you want to call them, yeah, I don't know if they qualify to be third or fourth parties, but the Jamaica First Movement, JFM, and the Jamaica Progressive Party, JPP, say they're joining forces in what they describe as a historic move to disrupt decades of political deadlock and revive voter engagement. The JPP, having satisfied the requirements of the Representation of the People Act, ROPA, was named the country's fourth registered party in 2020. Oh, can't remember them though. They went quiet after 2020. It's also one of the entities expected to contest the upcoming election. And then there is the Jamaica First movement by well-known clergyman, the Reverend Al Miller, that was launched earlier this month. According to Reverend Miller, the JFM is being positioned as a vehicle for national unity and would only serve for a single 5-year term if successful in forming a government. First of all, Al Miller is a repressed politician. Yeah? Al Miller over the years has always demonstrated, articulated the need for national unity and for us to clean up the politics and to get more people engaged. So I'm not surprised that he continues to be at it. Yeah? But he has studiously avoided joining one of the two major political parties. But he's clearly one of those Jamaicans who are concerned. Yeah? The second thing I will say to you, Reverend Miller, how practical is it for you to be saying that, listen, you want a vehicle for national unity and would only serve for a single 5-year term if successful in forming a government? What can you achieve in a single 5-year term? No. I think that demonstrates a level of naivety, on your part, Reverend Miller. It's going to take more than a single 5-year term, to establish the kind of unity you're talking about. Yeah? And this concept, this notion of national unity, Tell me where it exists in Westminster democracies or autocracies. Tell me where it exists. Think about it. The kind of national unity that Reverend Miller is talking about. I don't know of any country where we have this so-called unity by political parties and civic organizations, civil societies. No. And I think there are good reasons why they don't happen. Yeah? People have different opinions and views and genuinely based differences. Not because they don't like Jamaica, they love Jamaica. No, there are different ways of working to achieve the same goals. So this thing about national unity is a fiction. Yeah, is being naive. It no work. Well, a statement they put out yesterday says the JPP, that's a progressive party, will operate within the JFM special purpose vehicle for a single 5-year term with a stated mission of fostering national unity and rebuilding the country's foundation. Under the agreement, the JFM will provide the vision for what it calls the New Jamaica. Sounds familiar? The New Jamaica. The political parties and other society, civil society movements from time to time use that term, the New Jamaica, while the JPP, as a registered political party, says it will supply the political machinery needed to meet electoral requirements. What does that mean? The political machinery? The statement says the collaboration will allow the coalition to field candidates in all constituencies across the island, giving Jamaicans in every parish an alternative to the country's traditional political choices. Wish you luck with that. Time for the break.